Hello and greetings to you out there. Welcome to the newspaper review here on TAP TV. Yes, this is where we get to discuss trending and catchy headlines every day. Yes, we discuss with people on the streets here on the streets of Port Harcourt. We get to see their thoughts and reactions as regards the headlines making rounds on the papers. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today, and you can also be a part of this show. Since you are not here to discuss with us, please do well to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notification button, connect with us across all our social media platforms. So that when we drop videos like this, you get to receive our notifications. And well, before we discuss with people on the street, let's first look into the newspapers and see what the stories look like. Today being Friday, 15th March 2024. First, we'll be looking at the Nation's newspaper. We could see as headline says, Kiari, Port Harcourt refinery resumes production in 2 weeks. Details of the story is found on page 7. Federal government insists discos must recapitalize for efficiency. Details is found on page 7. Rivers crisis. House tightens legislation on local government. Details is found on page 6. Otuaro replaces Indiomu as PAP administrator. Details of the story is found on page 2. You see here it says, Labour plans showdown with states not paying wage award. Sub-story under that read, only 14 states complying. Rivers paying 30k. Kwara, Gombe, 10,000. Details is found on page 2. House of Rep kicks over NAFDAC's ban on alcoholic drink in sachets. Details is found on page 26. We see how the main story here reads, Federal government eases access to student loan in new proposal. Details of this story is found on page 2. Ningi's budget padding claim. Knock for PDP over resignation call on Akpabio. Details is found on page 4. Undersea cable cuts cripple internet services. Details is found on page 4. Ranching. IPOB disagrees with federal government. Details of the story is found on page 6, and that's all we'll be taking on the Nation's newspaper. And moving on, we'll be looking at the Daily Trust newspaper. We can see here as headline says, How man allegedly killed sister's husband over 20 naira salt. Details of this story is found on page 10. Tinubu writes National Assembly demand reenactment of Student Loan Act. Details is found on page 5. Budget padding. Insertions by National Assembly legal, says Bagudu. Substory under that reads, Akpabio won't resign. Senate spokesman replies PDP. Principal officers receive over 200 million, says Ndume. Article demands probe. Details of the story is found on page 4. Port Harcourt refinery to commence operation in 2 weeks. Details is found on page 19. Kano POS operators return 9.9 million naira mistakenly transferred to his account. Details is found on page 10. Drunken father mistakes 9-year-old daughter for wife. Details is found on page 7. School abductions, NSAs, service chiefs, northern governors meet as bandit demand 1 billion naira for 287 Kuriga pupils. Details is found on page 6, and that's all we'll be taking on the Daily Trust newspaper. And lastly, we'll be looking at the New Telegraph newspaper. We can see as headline here reads, Undersea cable damage disrupt telcos, banks transactions. This is found on page 8. CBN bar banks from paying dividends with FX revaluation gains. Details is found on page 8. Bandits want 287 Kaduna school children ransomed for 1 billion naira. Details of the story is found on page 2, 4, and 26 of the New Telegraph newspaper. Defamation, forgery, murder threat, or your court sentences ex-NAS member Oyebanji to 16 months imprisonment. Details is found on page 30. Welfare, retired soldiers lament neglect. Substory under that read says their predicament can demoralize serving soldiers. Details is found on page 26. Exam season, Nigerians slam EFCC for raiding UNN off-campus hostel. Details is found on page 7. Bagudu, NAS topped 2024 appropriation with 1.2 trillion naira, says it's within its democratic rights. Details is found on page 3 and 8, and that's all we'll be taking on the New Telegraph newspaper. Now let's get to see the reactions of people on the street. Let's get to hear what they had to say about the headlines making rounds on the paper. Welcome. I would like your thoughts on the Nation's that says Labour plans showdown with states not paying wage award. Remember they had an agreement with the federal government that every state would be paying wage award, an amount to support the hardship and the situation we are going through in the country. And some states are not agreeing to pay this amount, while some states like River State here now, our own state, they are not even backing down. They are paying as high as 30,000 naira. The governor is representing, but some other governors are not accepting to pay these amounts. Some are paying 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira, depending on how their internet generated revenue is. Why some are not paying at all?
Now, I would. It's not that I'm trying to support the states that are not paying currently. The revenues generated by different states are not the same. But the fact that Rivers State is paying, you cannot actually compare them to Osun State and the likes of it. But since it has been generally agreed, I think what these states that are not paying should do should at least start small. Should start from the level they have. Okay, let's just agree, just like you said, some states are paying 10, some are paying above. So rather than just backing out and making it look as if you're against the law, because one thing is that you cannot fight the law, you cannot fight the government. So once the labor union have agreed that, okay, everybody has to pay some certain amount, let's just align and start from where we are, so that it don't look as if we're actually disobeying the government. And secondly, just like I said, the revenues from one state cannot be compared to the other. Let the labor. I will be pleading with the Labour Congress to at least give some states some time, because I know that they are not like backing out offensively. It might be okay. This is what we are facing now. These are the challenges we are facing. Let's give people time. Nigerians, we need time. It is not just easy to just start out something like that. It might literally affect some state economy, sincerely. So I will plead with the Labour Congress to give some states some time, in as much as we know that they have to enforce the law at hand already. But let's just give some states some time, okay?
Another thing I want to add, do you think it's something that they can sustain for long? Let's say most or majority of these state governors, they are accept to continue this payment. Do you think it would last for long? Knowing how Nigeria is, knowing how it's hard for them to incur income at this time.
No, everything boils down to the present economy generally.
Exactly.
Everything boils down to how it is. Just like the sun is directly on us now, it's affecting everybody generally. So I think with due time, based on how the economy is, most states, if it gets bad, God forbid, it's not a bad prayer, but if it gets bad, I bet you some states will back down. Some states will say, okay, the economy is not favoring us, and we are still. Some states will definitely back down, but let's just keep hope alive and pray that whatever we have started, we should be able to drive it to the end.
Exactly. All right, let's deviate a little bit. We see on the Daily Trust, it says a sad story that says how man allegedly killed sister's husband over 20 naira salt. First, is this even possible? How advanced life has been in recent times.
Okay, they say
now this is out of political talk.
Obviously, now generally, they say an angry man, a hungry man is an angry man,
and salt is related to food.
I'm telling you. So for this man to kill, though it's actually a sad story, but it's kind of comic to say you're killing somebody for a 20 naira salt. A 20 naira salt. I would say generally there is more to this. There is more to this. In as much as the salt is like a headline now, but I bet you in terms of relationship wise to this sister's husband, there is more to it. I would say that there has been a build-up of anger, yes. There has been a build-up of anger before now. So this is just an aftermath of what has already been played in his mind. So it's very sad. It's very sad. It's very, very sad.
And the law has to take its course.
Surely. In as much as we know that this can be as a result of frustration, okay, he's just tired of life generally, and he just had to pour out his anger on somebody, and the sister's husband just had to be the victim. But the law will still take its course. You have killed somebody. You have killed someone. That's a life that has been lost. That's a Nigerian that has actually lost his life. So you actually have to face the law, regardless of whatever excuses that you have taken. That's why, in as much as things get hard, we should learn to control our anger.
Exactly. So what's your advice to everybody out there? Because we know we are facing the same challenges at the moment. So what do you have to tell everybody out there?
What is affecting everybody? What is affecting one man is affecting everybody, sincerely speaking. So just like I said, we should learn to control our anger, the way we react to things, the way we manage situations. Things are not like I just got to know of a particular country that have never seen light for a very long time, and we are at some part of Nigeria, we're actually enjoying things. There are some benefits in this country, in as much as we are going through a lot, and a lot is going through us. But let's try to minimize the way we handle situations. Let's try to rethink, at least have a second thought before we make every move. And God helping us, everything will get better.
Thank you very much. All right, good day.
Good day, sir.
I would like your thoughts on the Nation's newspaper that says Port Harcourt refinery resumes production in 2 weeks.
Okay, I really think it's not very possible. It's impossible, exactly. Due to the scenario, everything that is happening, and due to what we have been hearing for over the past 2 years now, and over how many years back. In fact, I think it's practically impossible. If it would have been repaired, or it would have resumed production, I think something that Tinubu came into power since last year, I think he would have begun starting working on that. But since I don't think it's possible right now. Yeah.
Now let's look at the angle of price of petrol. If this refinery starts working, this will be the only refinery that will have working at the moment. If it start working, how sure are we that the price of petrol will change, knowing that people have bought old stocks in that higher amount?
I'm pretty sure that once, because definitely if you look at the law, definitely when the quantities are much, definitely the price will definitely reduce. If it starts working, which we are hoping, but if it starts working, well, I'm not sure of that. But should it start working, definitely we know that the price of petrol will reduce.
Yeah, but imagine you have a filling station and you've bought, let's say, 100,000 liters for a price of 500 naira per liter. And in 2 weeks' time, you are sure that petrol that you bought would not finish at that time. If it gets to that 2 weeks' time, you would not want to change your price and start selling as low as 200 naira.
Yeah, we in respect of the fact that the people selling this people that owns those, talking about the fuel stations, in respect of the fact that they will not want to change their price. As far as the quantity is much,
it's in
circulation. Definitely.
Is there a probability that the refinery will reduce the price of petrol?
Definitely, they will reduce the price of petrol once the quantity is in circulation. Definitely, we are sure of that.
Okay, but it doesn't have an effect in the economy in general. Because most persons, if you come to buy, let's say, bread or food, they will tell you the price of petrol is high. Most persons use the price of petrol as excuse.
Yes, the price of the commodities we are seeing now, the price of everything is hiking. What am I trying to say? Definitely, the price of petrol have a direct effect on everything because of the transportation and everything. Even the gari you are talking about, the cassava, somebody process cassava from the village to transport it to this the urban environment. I really think it will definitely have to go through transportation, and that's why everything will increase. Definitely.
All right, yes. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
But there is every tendency that the refinery will be working.
Yes, it will working.
And do you think the price of petrol will come down?
Yeah, because you say too much. People don't shop at too much.
In the country.
People don't too much shop at well. But it's about to be like 180 or 120. You better pass. To pity person, I beg. A matter anything pity for person, I beg.
Because food is cost, transportation.
Food cost everywhere. That's everywhere. So hungry, they for everywhere. Now make criminal people they for everywhere. They will bring people chop. It don't make sense.
So now, if the cost of food and transportation, and let's say the refinery gets working, do you think crime will reduce in the community?
Yes, not be lie. It will reduce, not be lie.
All right, thank you very much. All right, this is where we draw our curtains today, and you've heard all what has been discussed here. If you have anything to add to it or you have a counter opinion, always slide to our comment section and drop your comment without hesitation. Yes, you can also be a part of the show by subscribing, turning on the notification button, connect with us across all our social media platforms so that I get to receive our notifications. And yes, my name is Obed Jerry, your host for today, and this has been the newspaper review here on TAP TV. Have a lovely weekend ahead.